Yo, what is up everybody? How is it going? Clyde here, and today I will be sharing a little bit about my life and who I am. Who is Clyde Kurtzer? That's a pretty good question. Clyde is he's a fun guy, loves sports a ton. Soccer especially, I'm a big fan of soccer, play center back, love running. I used to run a lot, but then I realized that I could run and kick a ball at the same time, so I had to do that one. Loves math, loves playing Minecraft. YouTube.com/ClydeCraft, your source for stress-free Minecraft content. I have a younger sister named Tess, who is going to be a junior this year, and I love her very much. I have been incredibly blessed in that I have grown up in a Christian household my whole life. My family began coming to Cornerstone just a few months after I was born, and I've been here ever since. There have been numerous experiences in my life which have shaped who I am, but the most prominent has probably been the experience with my eye. So I remember the day vividly. I got out of bed, went downstairs, looked for my dad. He's usually sitting on a couch reading a book, reading his Bible or something. And so I'm like, hey, how's it going, Dad? He's like, come here, Clyde. Just, super loving father. Just felt the warmth. So I hopped up on the bed, sat in his lap, and I'm just looking out the window. We got nice big windows in our spare room, looking at our maple tree, the crisp, clean colors, when all of a sudden, boom, out of my left eye, the colors were not crisp, they were not clean. I couldn't really make out that they were leaves anymore. They just looked like red blobs of color, different shades, different sizes. So I said the only thing that my 5-year-old mind could describe them as, Dad, I see Skittles. What do you mean, Clyde? That doesn't mean anything. He couldn't understand. How could I expect him to? There was really no way that he could have understood what I was trying to tell him. I would just mindlessly speak my imagination anyways. This certainly wasn't the first time, but this time I certainly wasn't imagining anything because a blood vessel had just painlessly burst in my eye, which would go on to eventually cause me to lose my vision in my left eye. Initially, I definitely had no idea what was happening. I had essentially nothing to compare it to. I essentially thought, oh, I guess this is how everyone sees out of their left eye, so why should I act any different? And then when I went to the eye doctor when I was 7, they're like, oh boy, this is bad. And then I'm like, I might lose my vision. It's kind of weird because I don't really remember what it's like to see out of 2 eyes. I guess at that point, I just kind of took it for granted, and then it just kind of is lost in my memory. I'm not sure what it's like, I don't remember it. I wouldn't say I ever felt angry or mad at God. Definitely more confusion. I just couldn't understand how just this wonderful, loving God could just let this happen to me. I tried to understand, but at such a young age, I wasn't mature enough to understand that. So I looked to older people, I looked to my elders, to my parents, and they were sources for strength, for sure. Gave me insight, they gave me encouragement, and they gave me hope. As my struggle with my eye continued through middle school, I began to read my Bible and ask questions with genuine intention to learn. I saw how my parents and leaders and elders knew far more than I did, and I wanted to pick up on everything they could offer to me. I slowly began to understand that God had a plan for me and my life. My parents and leaders helped reinforce a pivotal idea. It was that despite me not knowing the true purpose of the experience with my eye, God knew exactly what that purpose was. He had a master plan for my life, and I had to trust in that. I soon saw how He gave me more of an opportunity to trust in Him than if I had never experienced this at all. I had to accept that I had no control over this aspect of my life, and that God was going to utilize it to make me who I am. Because my left eye looked so much different than my right, kids in elementary school would give me a weird look and say something like, "What's wrong with your eye?" Every time they asked, I felt singled out and felt like I wasn't worth as much as they were. Over the next few years, I became more and more comfortable sharing my story to that same question, "What's wrong with your eye?" Because I knew that yes, something was wrong, but instead of backing away from that, I accepted it and even praised it. James 1:2-3 says this, "Consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." I had grown to not only acknowledge the pain and suffering because of my eye, but to welcome and enjoy it. When the devil tries to use something to try to create fear and pain, but you instead rejoice because of it, that is truly powerful. I realized that God had allowed me to experience this so that I could grow closer to Him. There was nothing I could have possibly relied on besides Him through all of this. Only when I gave my pain and struggle back to Him did I experience true peace and comfort. Any attempt I made to try and rationalize my feelings without God led me only to a place filled with more stress and more fear. After years of dealing with these eye issues with no end in sight, I wanted to find happiness and peace that would never run out. On the California trip of my freshman year, I made the decision to publicly announce that I would give my life to pursue the Lord, and got baptized. I chose a verse from the Bible that I vowed always to hold with me that I called my life verse. 1 Corinthians 15:58. Therefore, dear brothers and sisters, stand firm, let nothing move you. Always submit yourselves fully to the work of the Lord, for you know your labor in Him is not in vain. No matter what people said about my eye, no matter what the devil tried to tell me, I stood firm and let nothing move me. This verse represented the pinnacle of strength found in Jesus Christ. How could I settle for anything less? Looking back on it now, I'm even more grateful for this experience than I ever thought I would be. I still don't know God's full plan for me, but my faith in it is stronger. I often think about what it would have been like to have grown up with a more normal childhood, not having to worry about my eye, and though it may have been easier and less painful, I can recognize just how much of my character, of my faith, and of my trust in God can be owed to God letting me endure this experience. God used it to craft me and to shape me into the man that He had envisioned. Of course, I couldn't have seen this in His plan years ago, but now that I have seen just a fraction of it, I can't wait for what's next. Romans 12:2 says this, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of the mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." I know that whatever God has planned for me, it is going to be bigger, better, and greater than anything I can imagine. As I continue to delve into God's Word and pursue a deep relationship with Him, He reaffirms everything I already know and shows me more about who He is. Going blind in my left eye before I even turned 8 is something that I thought would forever define me and forever be a source of fear and pain. But God has shown me that even the darkest places of this world can be illuminated by His peace and by His light. He has demonstrated that He loves me deeply, cares about everything that I care about, and has a perfect plan for my life. But I don't believe that these just apply to me, but this is who we are.